The planet Virelia 9 had always been harsh. Its skies were thick with swirling dust storms, its oceans toxic to most life, and its land scarred with jagged mountains that seemed impossible to climb. Yet humans had settled here, not because it was easy, but because they were never content with easy. Colonists rushed through the metal corridors of the main settlement, their faces drawn tight with exhaustion and fear. For weeks, the colony had been under a strange, relentless attack. Ships, dark and angular, unlike anything in the galactic records, emerged from nowhere, striking without warning. They appeared, destroyed a small outpost, and vanished. Commander Elena Vargas stood on the observation deck of the colony's central tower, her eyes fixed on the horizon where another black ship cut through Virelia's stormy sky. Her heart pounded, but her face betrayed nothing. She was human, and humans did not surrender. "Status report," she called into her communicator. Lieutenant Harris, a young man with a scar running across his cheek, ran up beside her. "They've hit the eastern mining facility. All automated defenses are down. Casualties are—" He swallowed hard. "Too many." Elena clenched her fists. She had seen death before, but this was different. This wasn't just a fight for survival, it was a test. And they were losing. "Send the distress signal," she said quietly. Harris blinked. "To the Galactic Alliance?" They'll do what they always do," Elena interrupted. "Ignore it. Maybe, just maybe, this time someone will listen." The distress signal was simple but desperate. Using the colony's remaining satellites, Elena's team encoded every detail. The alien ships, the colony's position, their dwindling supplies, the exact nature of the threat. Every word was a cry for help. Every bit of data a silent plea to anyone out there who cared. As the signal shot into deep space, a strange feeling settled over Elena. Hope. Not the kind born from certainty, but the kind born from human stubbornness. Far beyond Virelia 9, in a council chamber on the massive space station of the Zenthari, a species known for its mathematical brilliance but emotional caution, the signal blinked onto a console. 3 figures hovered over it, their translucent forms shimmering. "It is a human distress signal," said the tallest, voice like chimes. "I do not believe they can survive for long. Their technology is primitive. Their colony is isolated. This is futile." Another, smaller Zenthari tilted its head. "Perhaps. But there is data here. Sensors show the humans' defense systems are unusual. They fight differently than we expect. Perhaps we should—" "Do nothing," the tallest said sharply. "Humans are weak. They are not worth our concern. We have more pressing matters in the Xylo cluster." Yet even as the council dismissed it, the signal continued its journey. Across light years, ships from other civilizations detected it, debated it, and mostly ignored it. For most, humans were a curiosity at best, a primitive species at worst. Back on Virelia 9, the colony's situation grew dire. Alien ships hovered closer each day, striking with precise accuracy. Every human countermeasure seemed to fail. Supplies dwindled. Morale teetered. Elena walked through the makeshift hospital where injured colonists lay on metal cots. She stopped beside a young girl, barely 10, holding a stuffed animal covered in dust and blood. The child looked at her with wide, trusting eyes. "We will survive," Elena whispered, more to herself than to the girl. "We always do." That night, as storms raged outside and alien ships hovered silently in the sky, the colony prepared for its last defense. Humans moved quietly but efficiently, reinforcing barricades, readying plasma rifles, and setting traps. Every movement was deliberate. Every breath counted. In the observation tower, Elena watched the sky. The stars, usually distant and comforting, now felt close and threatening. Somewhere out there, someone might be listening, and if they were, she prayed they understood. Then, a faint pulse registered on the colony's long-range sensors. A response. Not a message, not a ship, but a faint ripple, almost imperceptible. Harris saw it first. "Commander!" "Something's coming. I can't identify it, but it's huge, fast." Elena's heart skipped. Could it be the Galactic Alliance? Could it be reinforcements? Or was it something else entirely? As the night deepened, the colony's people huddled in their shelters, listening to the wind howl across jagged mountains and the distant hum of alien engines. Fear mixed with hope. Fear because the enemy had already proven deadly. Hope because somewhere in the vast galaxy, help might arrive. And then the sky lit up. Not with the alien ships, not with explosions, but with a flash of blue-white light moving faster than anything they had ever seen. It tore across the horizon, moving directly toward the colony. The colonists stopped what they were doing. For a moment, no one moved, no one spoke. Their fear was replaced by awe. Is it a human fleet? Harris whispered, disbelief in his voice. Elena squinted, trying to make sense of what she saw. The shapes were massive, sleek, and unlike any ship recorded in human history. They moved with purpose and precision. "They're coming," she said softly, a smile breaking across her face for the first time in days. "We're not alone." Far across the galaxy, other species began to notice too. Reports started spreading. A human fleet, something no one expected, was moving into a contested sector. For aliens who believed humans were weak, this was unsettling. For those who underestimated them, it would soon be terrifying. The first part of the arrival was simple. The humans arrived where they were needed most. They did not pause. They did not hesitate. Their actions were deliberate, intelligent, and coordinated, an elegance that left the alien attackers confused and frightened. In the colony's main plaza, Elena watched as the alien ships were destroyed one by one. Not by sheer firepower, but by strategy. Humans used their environment, improvised weapons and tactics that defied conventional wisdom. Every move was unexpected. Every action calculated to protect life. Children peered from behind barricades. Adults dropped to their knees, some crying, some laughing, all in disbelief. Humanity had survived the impossible once again. Elena allowed herself a moment to breathe. The signal had worked. Help had arrived. But this was only the beginning. Somewhere far beyond Virelia 9, the galaxy had begun to take notice. And when it did, no one would underestimate humans again. Because humans did not just survive. Humans adapted. Humans fought. Humans inspired. The human fleet appeared like a silver storm against the dark sky of Virelia 9. Its ships moved with astonishing speed, weaving through the dust storms as if the planet itself were bending to their will. They were unlike any vessel the galaxy had ever seen. Sleek, angular, and bristling with weaponry that glowed with a quiet, deadly energy. Commander Elena Vargas felt her chest tighten. These were humans, but not like any she had ever known. Each ship carried hundreds of men and women, soldiers trained in ways most could only imagine. And their precision, it was frightening. Not in a way meant to terrify allies, but terrifying to those who had thought humans weak. "Look at them," whispered Lieutenant Harris. How is this possible?" Elena did not answer immediately. Her eyes tracked the lead ship, larger than any other and pulsing with strange blue energy. "They are us," she said finally. "And we've never been so alive." As the alien raiding force approached, expecting an easy strike, they found nothing. The humans moved with synchronicity, anticipating every attack before it happened. Alien projectiles slammed into empty air. Traps were evaded as if the humans could see the future, and then came the counterattack. It was unlike anything the aliens had encountered. Human ships did not just shoot, they adapted. They used the planet's terrain, the storms, even the alien technology against them. A small group of fighter vessels lured the aliens into a canyon, where hidden orbital cannons obliterated the attackers in a single, precise strike. Back in the colony, Elena and her people watched in awe. "They're saving us," one worker whispered. Others cheered quietly, afraid to draw attention from the alien ship still circling above. The humans landed in phases, pouring from their ships onto the scarred ground. Soldiers ran to the damaged facilities, repairing and reinforcing them as they moved. Engineers recalibrated broken defenses, turning what was left into traps for the next wave of attackers. Every human worked in harmony, as if the colony were one massive organism and each person a vital cell. A young girl, the same one clutching her stuffed animal days before, ran up to Elena. Her eyes shone with wonder. "Are they real humans?" she asked. Elena smiled, though her face was tired. "The best of us," she said. "And they're here for you." In orbit above Virelia, alien observers were struggling to comprehend what they saw. Captain Krell of the Terex fleet, a species famed for its cunning and ruthlessness, stared at the transmission screens with disbelief. "These humans. They shouldn't be able to do this," Krell said, his voice shaking. "Our weapons should destroy them. Our ships should overwhelm them. Yet they move as one. They anticipate. They adapt. And they are precise. His second in command, a Teryx with 6 eyes and scaled skin, hissed in agreement. They are terrifying, not because they are powerful, but because we cannot predict them. We cannot win against what we do not understand. And across the galaxy, reports began to spread. Other species intercepted the live transmissions. The humans' methods, their speed, their ingenuity, these were things no one had thought possible. It was not firepower alone that made humans dangerous. It was their creativity, their resilience, their willingness to face impossible odds and refuse to bend. On the ground, the human soldiers worked tirelessly. Some fought, some repaired, and some coordinated with the colony's residents. Every move was planned, yet spontaneous when necessary. Every decision took advantage of what others might overlook. A rock formation that could shield a squad, a storm gust that could mask a maneuver, even the panic of the aliens themselves. Elena watched a small team of humans lure an alien ship into a trap. The alien vessel fired relentlessly, but each shot was predicted and countered. When it finally exploded, the shockwave sent a ripple through the atmosphere. The colonists gasped. "How did they do that?" Harris whispered. Elena shook her head. "Humans do not always fight like others. We survive first, adapt second, and innovate always." It was then that the lead ship descended, massive, its hull glowing with a strange energy. It landed in the center of the colony's plaza. A ramp lowered and a figure emerged. A human, tall and imposing, with armor unlike any known design. But what struck everyone most was his gaze. Calm, confident, unafraid. "People of Virelia," he said, voice strong and steady. "You are safe now. We will handle the rest." There was no ceremony, no show of power beyond what his presence implied. It was enough. Humans, who had long survived on hostile worlds, radiated confidence that alien species found unnerving. As the leader and his team moved to engage the remaining alien forces, Elena noticed something remarkable. Humans were not just fighting, they were teaching. Colony engineers observed the tactics, learned new ways to repair and defend, and even modified weapons using instructions from the newcomers. In hours, the humans had strengthened every weak point, creating defenses that even the aliens could not penetrate. The alien raiders, who had expected easy victories, now found themselves trapped, outmaneuvered, and confused. Ships that had once inspired fear now lay destroyed in the canyon, among the jagged rocks. Pilots who had bragged of victory now sent frantic messages, calling for reinforcements that might never come. Captain Krell's 6 eyes widened in disbelief as the reports kept arriving. These humans, they fight differently. They do not rely on strength alone. They anticipate, improvise, and strike with precision. They adapt. The Teryx officers began murmuring among themselves. Some whispered that humans were reckless, but Captain Krell knew better. They were not reckless. They were fearless. They were unpredictable. They were terrifying. By the end of the first day, the colony was secure, not just safe, but transformed. Barricades had been reinforced, new weapons were in place, and the alien threat was scattered across the surface, leaderless and disoriented. Elena finally allowed herself a moment to rest. She looked around at her people, at the humans who had arrived, and felt a deep swelling pride. Humans had survived in conditions no other species could endure. Humans had fought back when defeat seemed certain. Humans had arrived when hope was almost gone. "Who are they?" a young colonist asked, voice full of awe. Elena smiled. "They are us," she said simply. "The best of us. And they've shown the galaxy what it means to be human." That night, the colony slept under a sky filled with human ships, their engines quiet, but their presence unmistakable. Somewhere across the galaxy, other civilizations were watching, calculating and reconsidering everything they thought they knew about humans. Because humans were not just survivors. Humans were problem solvers. Humans were innovators. Humans did the impossible and made it look easy. And for the first time, many alien species realized something terrifying. If humans could fight like this on a small, isolated colony, what would happen if they were truly united? Somewhere far from Virelia 9, an alien historian would later write, "Humans are not the strongest. They are not the most advanced. But they are the species that refuses to yield. And in that, they are unstoppable." On Virelia 9, the humans prepared for the next challenge, their spirits unbroken, their courage unwavering, and their ingenuity unmatched. The galaxy had been warned. Humanity had arrived, The alien forces had retreated, scattered across Virelia 9's jagged landscapes, their communications filled with confusion and fear. The human fleet, however, did not stop to celebrate. For Commander Elena Vargas, the battle's end was only the beginning. Elena gathered her team in the central command hub of the colony. The humans who had arrived to save them, soldiers, engineers, tacticians, stood around a glowing map of the planet. Every mountain, canyon, and storm pattern was displayed in intricate detail. "We've driven them back for now," Elena said, her voice calm but firm. "But they'll regroup. And when they do, it won't just be this colony. Other systems will face the same threat. We need to be ready, not just to defend, but to show the galaxy what humans can do." Lieutenant Harris, still awestruck from the battle, nodded. "But how?" "Our weapons. They're unlike anything these aliens have seen. How can we prepare for what comes next?" Elena smiled faintly. "By being humans, by thinking differently, moving differently, and never underestimating ourselves." Far beyond Virelia 9, in the council chambers of the Xylo cluster, alien leaders debated in panic. Reports had arrived from multiple systems. The human fleet was not only powerful but unpredictable. They did not follow the rules of space combat. They anticipated attacks, adapted to unknown conditions, and used ingenuity over brute force. Ambassador Tharks of the Zenthari spoke first. "We cannot match their ships 1-to-1. Our technology is superior in many ways, yet they outmaneuver us constantly. Their methods are alien to us," a Terex general hissed. "They are terrifying. Not because of weapons, but because we cannot predict them. Every plan we make fails against them. We may be strong, but they are unstoppable in their unpredictability." The council agreed. They must understand humans before engaging fully. And so they sent emissaries, not to fight, but to challenge, to observe, and perhaps to learn. Back on Virelia 9, the humans prepared for the challenge. Alien emissaries approached under the banner of diplomacy, landing in the valley outside the colony. Their ships were advanced, glimmering with technology that the humans had never seen before. Elena led a small contingent of soldiers to meet them. The emissaries were cautious, their movements deliberate, their voices measured. "Humans," one began, "we have observed your actions. Your fleet is remarkable. But how can you continue to survive against forces far superior to your technology?" A young human officer stepped forward. "Because we adapt. We learn. We never give up. You may have more advanced ships, but you cannot predict us, and that is your weakness." The emissaries exchanged uneasy glances. One of them, a sleek creature from the Terex fleet, hissed softly. "You speak boldly for a species so small, so primitive." The human officer smiled. "Boldness is human, and as you'll see, it is not weakness." The challenge began with a simulation. The aliens would stage attacks under controlled conditions to see how humans responded. Virelia 9's landscape became a massive arena. Rocky mountains, deep canyons, toxic lakes, and violent storms. Humans and aliens engaged in mock battles, their actions observed by alien scholars. Humans did not fight like the aliens expected. Instead of charging directly, they split into teams that used the terrain cleverly. Some created diversions, others set traps, and some lured alien units into dangerous zones. Every action was calculated yet flexible, capable of adapting to sudden changes. Colonel Ramirez, a veteran human tactician, explained to Elena, "Aliens expect us to follow patterns. We don't. Every move should keep them guessing, force them to respond, and then exploit that response." Elena nodded. "Good, keep moving. Keep thinking. Show them what humans really are." The alien emissaries were stunned. Their sensors could not track the humans' decisions in real time. Their technology, built to predict and counter strategies, failed. A single human squad could outmaneuver an entire alien battalion simply by improvising, using obstacles the aliens considered useless. One alien observer whispered, "They are impossible. Every plan fails. Every attack is countered. How do they do this?" Another, more analytical, replied, "They think differently. They do not follow logic as we know it. They anticipate, adapt, and take risks no other species would attempt. This is not technology alone. This is evolution." Back in the valley, human squads demonstrated another remarkable skill: collaboration. Soldiers from different units, sometimes from separate ships, coordinated without electronic signals, without constant orders, and yet every move was in perfect harmony. Humans had trained to read each other, to anticipate needs, and to act instinctively. The alien emissaries watched, unable to hide their unease. These humans could fight without the heavy reliance on sensors and artificial intelligence that other species considered essential. They were living, thinking, reacting weapons, self-contained units of adaptability. After the first day of mock engagements, the aliens attempted a final test, a direct confrontation using advanced drones equipped with superior weapons. They expected humans to retreat, to lose control, to fall back under fire. Instead, humans attacked with a combination of tactics they had used only in theory until now. A squad used a canyon to funnel the drones, while engineers remotely hacked alien signals, turning some drones against the others. A third team launched a diversion using storm-driven plasma flares. Within hours, the drones were neutralized. Captain Krell of the Terex fleet, observing remotely, could not hide his shock. Impossible. How do they do this? We have superior firepower, faster ships, advanced AI. And they still prevail? The human leader of the operation, a tall woman with silver armor and calm eyes, looked at the remaining alien ships. "It is simple," she said. "You fight with fear. We fight with purpose. We adapt, we survive. That is what makes us human." Word of these demonstrations spread quickly through the galaxy. For species that had dismissed humans as primitive, the reality was impossible to ignore. Humans were not the strongest nor the most numerous, nor the most technologically advanced, but they were the most dangerous in ways that mattered most. Across trade routes, communication networks, and council chambers, the phrase began to spread. The humans are unpredictable. Do not underestimate them. Even among the aliens who had fought humans before, there was a growing fear. Humans could not be predicted. Their strategies were fluid, adaptable, and often brilliant. And perhaps most terrifying of all, humans were fearless. Where other species calculated every risk, humans charged into danger and learned from it. Elena watched her soldiers rest after the day's simulations. Some were laughing, some were tending wounds, but all were alert. "They've seen what we can do," she said. "But this is just the beginning. The galaxy will try to challenge us again, and we'll be ready." Lieutenant Harris looked at her, still awed. "Commander, the aliens, they fear us already, and we've only just shown them tricks. Imagine what happens when humans really fight." Elena smiled. "Exactly. Fear is not our goal, but respect. That comes naturally when you survive the impossible." That night, the human fleet remained over Virelia 9, engines quiet but prepared. Elena walked along the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Somewhere, beyond the galaxy's rim, other species were recalculating. The message was clear. Humans could not be ignored. A young colonist ran up, holding a small flag from their settlement. "Commander, will humans help other colonies too?" Elena knelt and smiled. "We will. But first, we show them that humans do not give up. We adapt, we survive. And when the galaxy sees what we can do, it will remember us, not for our ships, but for our spirit." In distant systems, alien scholars recorded every move. Every tactic, every success, every human innovation was studied. And the more they studied, the more they realized humans were not just another species. Humans were a phenomenon. Captain Krell's voice echoed through the council chamber of the Xylo cluster. "We have underestimated them. We have failed to understand them. And I fear, if we continue to ignore them, the entire galaxy will regret it." On Virelia 9, the humans rested briefly, knowing that challenges would come again. But for now, they had proven what it meant to be human. Clever, resilient, adaptive, and unyielding. The galaxy had begun to take notice. From distant observation posts to massive council chambers, species that once dismissed humanity now watched with a mix of awe and fear. The humans of Virelia 9 had not only survived impossible attacks, they had thrived under pressure, displaying skills, ingenuity, and resilience that defied logic. Commander Elena Varga stood on the observation deck of the human flagship. The fleet had repaired the colony, strengthened defenses, and trained local residents in human tactics. Her gaze swept the planet below, where life was slowly returning to normal. Yet her mind was already on the bigger picture, the galaxy beyond, where humans were beginning to leave their mark. Lieutenant Harris approached, carrying reports from the sensors and intercepted alien communications. "Commander, They're talking about us. Everywhere. The Xanthari, the Tarics, even the scholars from the distant Soren system. No one can stop discussing what humans can do, Elena nodded. They're learning. And more importantly, they're realizing they underestimated us. That's something humans have always done. Survive when everyone else counted us out. The revelation about humans began to spread not just through military channels, but across scholarly and political networks. Alien historians, once convinced that humans were weak, were forced to revise their texts. Humans were not only capable of surviving hostile worlds, but they had evolved, both biologically and culturally, to thrive under conditions that would destroy most species. On the barren world of Drevos, a Xanthari scholar addressed her council. These humans, they survive in death world conditions. Their planets, their climates, their predators. Nothing stops them. And yet they build, innovate, and expand. This is evolution. Accelerated, perhaps unique, the council members murmured. Some argued that humans were a curiosity, nothing more. Others grew uneasy. If humans could endure the impossible, what might they achieve next? Back on Virelia 9, humans continued their work. Engineers repaired alien technology, learning its secrets and adapting it for human use. Soldiers trained colonists in strategies that relied on clever thinking rather than sheer firepower. Each day, the colony grew stronger, more self-sufficient, and more prepared for future threats. Elena walked with a young engineer named Mika, who was modifying an alien energy shield for use on the colony's perimeter. It's incredible, Mika said. We're taking something designed to destroy us and making it protect us instead. Humans, we just do that naturally. Elena smiled. We don't panic. We observe, adapt, and act. That's humanity. Others may fear us, but they will respect our skill. Far from Virelia 9, alien leaders convened emergency meetings. The Tarics General, Captain Krell, presented reports from the simulations and observations. We face a species that is unpredictable, resourceful, and resilient. They thrive in environments that would kill us. Their strategies are not just clever, they are adaptive, intelligent, and fearless. If we confront them without understanding, we risk complete failure, a counselor hissed, her scales gleaming in the dim chamber. We can match them in technology, yes. But that is not enough. Humans fight differently. They learn faster. They improvise. We cannot predict them. That terrifies me, Krell nodded. It should terrify everyone. Humans are not a minor threat. They are a force unlike any we have faced before. And their resilience. It is not just skill. It is instinct, culture, and evolution combined. We cannot ignore them. Meanwhile, on Virelia 9, humans prepared for long-term survival and expansion. They trained colonists in skills beyond combat, engineering, agriculture, environmental adaptation. Each human arrival brought knowledge that could turn the most hostile world into a thriving settlement. Colonists marveled at the efficiency. We can survive here, one said. We can make this place livable because the humans taught us how. They see what we can't see and make it possible. Elena overheard and smiled. That's what we do. Humans do not give up. We find a way. And when others see it, they cannot help but take notice. The revelation was not just about survival. It was about creativity, courage, and the unyielding human spirit. Humans had developed technologies, tactics, and strategies that were impossible to predict. They had learned to turn every obstacle into an advantage. And most astonishingly, they had done it without waiting for permission or approval from any other species. In the outer systems, alien spies and scouts reported everything. They documented human behavior, trying to find weaknesses. Yet the more they watched, the more they realized humans had no predictable weaknesses. They adapted to each challenge, learned from every mistake, and improved constantly. Captain Krell, frustrated but honest, admitted, they are not just a species. They are a phenomenon. We cannot fight them as we fight others. To do so is suicide. To ally with them may be the only option. Some alien historians began to study human culture. They discovered that humans were a species shaped by harsh conditions, competition, and survival. Their history was filled with examples of adversity and triumph, each generation building upon the last, growing stronger, smarter, and more resilient. One Soren scholar noted, their evolution is not purely biological. It is social, cultural, and technological. Each human carries the experience of centuries in their instincts. They are remarkable. The humans on Virelia 9 continued their work, seemingly unaware of the galactic attention they had attracted. They repaired structures, expanded defenses, and explored nearby territory for resources. Each day, the colony became stronger, more capable, and more self-sufficient. Elena gathered her senior team. "We have proven that humans can survive under impossible odds. Now we must show the galaxy what else we can do, not through fear but through action. We teach, we build, we innovate. That is how humans change the galaxy." Lieutenant Harris looked at her, admiration in his eyes. "Commander, they'll never underestimate us again." Elena nodded. "Good. Let them learn. Let them watch. And when the time comes, we'll be ready for anything." As the days passed, alien fleets across multiple systems began to prepare differently. They analyzed humans, modified strategies, and debated alliances. Some feared confrontation, some sought cooperation, and all began to acknowledge one undeniable fact. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, problem solvers, and warriors in equal measure. On Virelia 9, a group of human soldiers returned from a scouting mission, carrying captured alien equipment. They had examined it, adapted it, and improved upon it. Even the colonists marveled at their ingenuity. One colonist asked, "How do you do it?" "Every time we think something is impossible, you find a way," a soldier smiled. "Because humans don't know the word impossible. We find a way or we die trying, and if we die, someone else will take our place and try again. That is what makes us human." The revelation of humanity spread not just as rumor but as fact. Across councils, fleets, and colonies, beings debated, argued, and marveled. Humans could not be ignored. Humans could not be predicted. Humans could not be defeated easily. And as Virelia 9 thrived under their protection, humans prepared for the next phase: exploration, expansion, and proving that their abilities were not limited to survival. They were capable of shaping the galaxy itself. Elena stood on the observation deck once more, watching the stars. She knew the galaxy was beginning to understand something crucial. Humans were not just another species. Humans were a force. And the more the galaxy learned, the more respect and fear they would feel. In distant systems, alien historians would later write, "Humans survive where others perish. They innovate where others fail. They adapt where others cannot. To underestimate them is to invite disaster. To understand them is to gain the galaxy's most unpredictable ally." The galaxy had changed. In a matter of weeks, humans had gone from being a little-known, isolated species to a force that could not be ignored. Reports of the human fleet on Virelia 9 spread across the stars like wildfire. Scholars, military leaders, and traders alike shared the same message. Humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and unstoppable when threatened. Commander Elena Vargas stood on the observation deck of the flagship Resolute, looking at the stars. The colony below had grown stronger, more organized, and more self-sufficient than she could have imagined. Humans had repaired the alien technology, expanded defenses, and taught the colonists not just to survive, but to thrive. Lieutenant Harris approached, his eyes wide with the same mix of awe and excitement that many humans felt these days. "Commander, they're calling us Death Worlders. Across the galaxy, everyone is talking about us." Elena nodded. "And they'll remember. Humans survive the impossible. We thrive where others fail. That's what makes us human." Far across multiple systems, alien leaders debated what to do next. The Tarek's fleet, once confident in their superiority, had been humbled. Captain Krell convened a council with other species that had been monitoring humans. "We underestimated them," Krell said bluntly. "They are not the strongest, nor the fastest, nor the most numerous. But they are unpredictable. They adapt. They innovate. They fight with courage and intelligence. To confront them unprepared is to risk annihilation." A Zenthari diplomat added, "Their history shows they survive extreme conditions, hostile worlds, and impossible odds. They are not merely resilient, they are evolutionary marvels. We cannot ignore them any longer." Discussions turned quickly from strategies of attack to alliances. Some argued for cooperation, believing that joining humans would be safer than opposing them. Others, fearful and distrustful, prepared for the worst. One thing was certain: humans had changed the galaxy's balance of power. Back on Virelia 9, humans prepared for the next stage of expansion. They were not content to simply defend a colony. They explored nearby planets, searching for resources, scouting hazards and evaluating potential allies. Every mission was precise and purposeful, demonstrating once again the humans' ingenuity and adaptability. Elena observed a small squad returning from a scouting mission. They carried alien artifacts, repaired their ship under extreme conditions, and even created a new type of energy shield from limited materials. One of the engineers, a young man named Mika, explained their work. "We've combined alien tech with human design principles," Mika said. "It's stronger, more efficient, and adaptable. We can take it anywhere and improve it even further." Elena smiled. "Exactly. Humans don't just survive with what we have, we improve it. That's how we turn the impossible into the achievable." As the humans continued their operations, alien civilizations across the galaxy began to recognize the truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were leaders, innovators, and problem solvers. They had turned every challenge into an opportunity. In the distant Soren system, alien historians debated what they had learned. Humans survive in death-world conditions. They innovate faster than we can calculate. They adapt in ways that are almost unpredictable. They are not merely another species. They are a force. The scholars agreed. Humans had to be understood, respected, and, if possible, allied with. To ignore them was folly. To oppose them could mean disaster. Meanwhile, Virelia 9 had become a symbol of human capability. The colony that had sent a simple distress signal now stood as proof that humans could not only survive the harshest conditions, but could turn them into advantages. Colonists, once fearful and desperate, now worked with confidence and skill. They had learned from the best, humans who had thrived in death-world conditions for generations. A group of young colonists trained with human soldiers, practicing both tactics and survival skills. One girl, the same who had first clutched her stuffed animal in fear, now moved confidently, wielding a modified energy rifle. She looked at Elena and said, "I want to be like them. I want to be a human who can survive anything." Elena smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You already are. Humanity isn't about where you come from. It's about courage, intelligence, and never giving up." The human fleet prepared for a new mission, to explore farther into contested space, where threats lurked and other species might challenge them. Elena gathered her officers in the command room, outlining the plan. "We move forward," she said, her voice steady. "Not to conquer, not to dominate, but to show that humans can thrive where others fear to tread. We will protect, explore, and innovate, and every step we take will remind the galaxy why humans cannot be ignored." Lieutenant Harris looked at her with determination. "Commander, they'll see us coming and they'll know. This is a species that cannot be defeated." Elena nodded. "Exactly. But they'll also see something else. Humans do not fight for fear or glory. We fight to survive, to protect, and to grow. That is what terrifies those who try to control the galaxy. And that is what makes us humans." Across the galaxy, alien fleets scrambled to respond. They calculated, studied, and debated. But no calculation could account for human adaptability. No technology could anticipate human ingenuity. And no history could fully capture human resilience. Captain Krell of the Terex fleet sighed as he watched the transmissions of humans landing on new worlds, repairing abandoned colonies and turning deadly environments into thriving settlements. "They are unstoppable," he said, "and they are not even trying to conquer. They just survive, and the galaxy bends around them." A Zenthari scholar added, "Humans do not rely solely on technology. They rely on each other, on creativity, and on spirit. They improve everything they touch. That is not something we can easily match." Meanwhile, on Virelia 9, humans continued their work. Engineers adapted alien energy shields, soldiers trained colonists in advanced tactics, and scouts mapped dangerous terrain. The colony had become a beacon, a proof of what humans could achieve. Elena looked at the night sky, dotted with ships and distant stars. "We've shown the galaxy that humans survive," she said. "Now we show them that we shape it. Every action, every improvement, every step forward, it is a message. Humans are here. Humans endure. Humans will thrive." Lieutenant Harris smiled. "And they'll never forget us." Elena's gaze hardened with determination. "No, they'll remember us. And some will respect us. Some will fear us. But all will know. Humans are not a species to be underestimated." As the fleet departed from Virelia 9, moving into unexplored sectors, the galaxy watched. Some civilizations sent emissaries to learn, others prepared defenses, and some quietly wished they could understand humans better. The human fleet moved like a storm of silver across the stars, swift, intelligent, and relentless. Every mission, every settlement, every success became part of the growing legend. Humans did not conquer with violence. They conquered with adaptability, courage, and ingenuity. And the galaxy began to realize the most important truth. Humans did not need to dominate to terrify. Their mere presence, their capacity to survive the impossible, and their ability to turn every challenge into an advantage was enough. Elena stood on the flagship's observation deck one last time, watching the stars. She knew that humanity had only just begun to make its mark on the galaxy. The adventures, the discoveries, and the challenges ahead were endless. But she also knew this. Humanity would face them as it always had, with courage, intelligence, and unyielding determination, and the galaxy, for all its power, knowledge, and technology, would never forget what arrived after that simple distress signal, because humans were no longer just survivors. Humans were a force that shaped the galaxy, inspired awe, and demanded respect. Somewhere in the far reaches of space, alien historians would write, they were underestimated, outnumbered, and dismissed. Yet they survived, adapted, and thrived. They were humans, and they became a legend the galaxy would never forget. On Virelia 9 and on countless other worlds to come, humans continued their work, exploring, defending, innovating, and showing the galaxy what it truly meant to be human.